DCC Chief Executive Paul Orders has announced another shake-up of his senior management team following the departure of Finance and Resources General Manager Athol Stephens. Otago Daily Times Council reporter Debbie Porteous has been covering the story, and she joins us now with the background. Good evening, Debbie. So what is the latest on this story?
Orders has put an interim management structure in place to cover the work of Athol Stephens, whose last day was on Friday. And that structure is likely to stay in place for a few months, and he's called a comprehensive review of the senior management team.
So explain to us how we got to this point exactly.
Well, Mr Orders was brought in Chief Executive about 18 months ago with the express purpose of cutting the operational costs of the council, including staff costs. Shortly after he was brought in, he did a restructure of the senior management team in which 2 of the senior managers were offered redundancy and took it. And since then, about 30 staff, the staff figures have reduced by about 30 at the council, and he's managed to come up with some considerable savings from all of the different teams at the council there, but he's still under quite a lot of pressure to find millions of dollars of savings each year.
Athol Stephens left in what seemed to be slightly confusing circumstances. Is that fair to say?
It does seem to be that we don't know the full story there yet. There was what happened on Thursday at 5 p.m. was we received a release from the council saying in it Mr Stephens said he decided to leave and that he and Mr Orders had agreed that now that the council's financial focus was moving from big investment projects to repaying debt, it was probably an opportune time for him to leave, so that was what was going to happen. It didn't explain any of the background to his decision. Mr Stephens couldn't be contacted, so I rang Mr Orders, who revealed that the decision was immediate and that the next day would be Mr Stephens' last day. Mr Orders said he denied that Mr Stephens' decision was because of the cost-cutting exercises, but there's been some speculation that Mr Stephens was indeed aware that the restructure was coming up, and that prompted his decision to leave at that time. Also, there's been some speculation that perhaps his involvement with the stadium project and being sort of the council's lead financial advisor or person in that may have had something to do that, but Mr Orders also denies that. So we've yet to get to the bottom of that.
All right, Debbie Porteous from the ODT, thanks for your time. Keep us posted.